Hello, Dr. Elmer, Advanced Neurospinal Solutions, and another day into our adventure together with the quarantine and martial law and threats and that. Very fun, always nice. And nothing about immune systems, so we're going to talk more about that and how to avoid. We talked at the beginning about the neurology of hysteria and how it affects, or particularly the biology of hysteria and how it affects everything in your body, runs a bad physiology, and is very bad for your immune system, which means it makes you more susceptible to whatever it is that's going around. And many people are getting things, but it's not that virus and so we sent out a email relating to how do you know when should you go if you've got a wet cough with sputum and nose is running. No, it is not that. Usually it's going to be a persistent dry cough, and it's going to make it very difficult for you to expand your lungs and to hold your breath. And that's all on that piece of information. And like I say, with all of this stuff, get it out to all your friends, because this is really all about supporting each other and all about being there for each other during this difficult time. And anybody you know that needs the extra boost in immune system, especially those who are in the high risk category, we would love to get them in here and love to help them. But let's talk about what I wrote on the board: the neurobiology of routines. How do we oppose the hysteria that's going on? We talked about getting off the television, getting off the news feeds, and they love the hysteria. This thing is working out so well for them. It's also working out for the future of pharmaceuticals. They're standing to make a killing in the next few years and decades. It'll be a multi-trillion-dollar business for them. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm just saying it's a conspiracy. But how do you combat that? Those who work under high stress, like special forces, Navy SEALs, CIA, they learn to overcome stresses by putting themselves constantly in those kind of stresses and practicing routines. And this is something that I learned very young as a kid, that routines are incredibly helpful because they walk us through what it is that we have to do that we don't want to do. They walk us through the step-by-step process faster to get it done. But from a neurobiology point of view, as a neurobiologist, I say that the routines are creating neurological pathways. The term we use is engram. We're engrammically encoding and embedding on those parts of the basal ganglia the ability to go through those movement patterns and that without thinking, and it allows us to also practice utilizing the upper brain to inhibit the middle brain, which is the limbic brain. It's the emotional brain. When we get all up in arms, or when we're angry, or when we're frustrated, or when we're scared, we are dumping all kinds of hormones from the front of the limbic brain, from the hypothalamus, and it is engaging a bad physiology. Well, the way they do it is they follow procedures. They remember their procedures and move through them, and so it allows them not to think about it. They're just trying to remember, okay, what's my procedure for this? If I follow these procedures, I may get through. I may not live, but I definitely won't live if I don't follow my tradecraft or my procedures. So, in taking charge of this, follow your old procedures is as though your job isn't furloughed, right? Keep doing your procedures, and let's add some new ones that will bring us health and vitality and strength. New ones that will help us in our relationships with our families and with all the stuff that we're doing. And we're going to talk about that more in the future. But those routines are going to carry us and help us through this individual difficult time, and allow us to create physiology. So those routines, just to recap, are creating neurological pathways, tracks, and circuitry to get that thing done. It's making it so that it gets easier easier to do without thinking, and that you're getting better at the physiology you have to run in order to get those things done. So, and I learned this in setting goals. You set the goals, and then I'd set the goals, then I'd set the routines. Because if I truly wanted to meet the goals, I had to set the routines that would get me there. And so those routines were the master plan on making it happen. And so when you take and put together these routines, it's allowing you a better physiology all the way along. I used to take care of a bunch of young men in the church program, in our church program, and they were in 12 to 13-year-olds, and kind of goofy kids that are used to playing video games all the time. And I keep telling them, you got to get a life, right? You got to get a life. You got to make your life, make your routines, and those routines will carry you. And a great man once said that the things that which you do persistently becomes easier. Not that the nature of the thing it gets easier, but that your ability to perform improves. So that's what we want to do. We want to keep our old routines. Get up at the same time you used to when you had your job. Go to bed at the same time when you didn't, or when you do, and follow all those routines, and then make some new ones and practice them. You practice them when it's not as much stress, and then when it gets more stress, it's easier to just follow them. And so make sure that you're beefing up your immune system. Go ahead and come on in here, and we'll boost your immune system even higher with our upper cervical adjusting and our rib adjusting and our first rib adjusting and some of the other things that we do for increasing the immune system. But be well and healthy, and know that you're watched over by those who are greater than we are. And so have a great weekend, and we'll send you out another one definitely before as the week starts. Thank you. Bye.